For the love of God, please show us some mercy. UFC Vegas 95 featured Serghei Spivac versus Marcin Tybura in the main event. Not my favorite card, let's be honest. I felt the main event was kind of like, why do we need a rematch of this? But Serghei Spivac did want to get his win back, and guess what? He managed to get it. Chepe Mariscal and Damon Jackson had a surprisingly fun fight, so that was some, greatness. And then, of course, Youssef Zalal was back in his second fight when his return to the UFC. So, Spivac wins, and it was relatively easy. We saw that coming. Like, everybody knew Serghei Spivac was going to win this fight. It's just a matter of how. Now, I say that, I don't do pre-fight predictions necessarily, especially on non-pay-per-view cards, but, man, like, that seemed like a walk in the park. It took him, what, a minute and 44 seconds, and he went out there and he got it done. It was really cool because he got Marcin Tybura against the fence, kind of got him on his butt, and was like, okay, now we're going to work from here. And Tybura was like, ha, I got him. So, Serghei Spivac had that leg posted up, not an arm, obviously, a leg, and Marcin Tybura was like, I'm gonna pull that out, that's a nice post of mine, except Serghei Spivac said, I'm playing a trap card, and took his back. He managed to get on the back and transition to an armbar, which I felt was hilarious because you had Michael Bisping saying, oh, big fellas, you don't see him get arm bars too often, and like not even 2 seconds later, Spivac locks in the arm bar, and Marcin Tybura kind of, he yells a verbal submission in the nature of kind of like you would see if something was very much hurting you, and it did. It hurt him a ton. I don't have much to say about this fight though, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, there's not much to say. It was a minute and 44, two mid heavyweights. Yeah, I don't know. Like, now Spivac is on a one fight winning streak. Let's see here. Let's go to the new fancy schmancy. There it is. I don't know why it didn't pop up. Let's go to this new web page that I have set up here. So Serghei Spivac, if we're looking here, he is on a one fight winning streak now after his loss to Cyril Gane. And I was going through the heavyweight division trying to see kind of what I liked next for him. And I was looking, and a lot of it's like, no, not really. I like this right here. Sergey Pavlovich is a good one. As you know, he's on a 2-fight losing streak to Tom Aspinall and Alexander Volkov. So, on a 2-fight losing streak, rank number 4, he's going to have to fight down. And when the division rankings come up tomorrow, I expect to see Spivac jump at least one ranking. Another one we could see, possibly Curtis Blades. Jailton Almeida is probably your best bet, though. I like the Almeida fight because both of them are grapple heavy. Almeida kind of looked bad against Curtis Blades when he got, just domed and after he was taken down. So, like, I like it. And I think the Almeida fight, who's also, if you look, he's on a 1-fight winning streak as well. He rebounded against Romanov. So he showed he can wrestle with the big guys, but can he still compete? Because he ran up against Curtis Blades and he was promptly knocked out. And then there was one more, like, fighting below, maybe Romanov, Shamil Gaziev. He's looking for his way in, and I mean, I don't rate him very high, but like Shamil Gaziev could actually go out there and have a good fight against somebody that's ranked top 10 early. So if we go to our rankings here, heavyweight, so Gaziev's not ranked, but you've got Spivac, who will likely jump Tybura tomorrow. Almeida one above him on a 1-fight winning streak. Pavlovich needs to fight down, but I mean, he could fight like Blades or Almeida too, so there's that. So yeah, I mean, as for Tybura, as we thought, I didn't think Marcin Tybura was that great of a guy anyway. Like, I didn't think he was that great of a fighter. He has some good wins, but he only wins the fights he should. And that's all you can pretty much ask for a fighter like that. So, great on Serghei Spivac. I'm happy to see him get a win. That said, that wasn't a main event. And we're gonna have a moan about that at the end, but like, that really wasn't the main event at all. Ugh. Didn't like it. Chepe Mariscal and Damon Jackson, however, I did enjoy. Those two guys put on a grapple heavy fight, and I was like, okay, so Chepe's real good, and Damon Jackson has this really good wrestling background, so we have an opportunity to see some fun stuff, and we did. We saw a lot of fun stuff, especially from Chepe. Unfortunately, Chepe missed weight, which means you're out, son. Like, you get the win, but it's not going to do nothing for you. Kind of one step forward, two steps back type thing. But Chepe, he's got this judo background, and he's really strong in the clinch. And Damon Jackson had success against the fence against Chepe Mariscal. But all in all, like, this fight was fun. But again, what did it mean? You know, like, I got nothing out of it except for the enjoyment of watching a fun fight. I felt like that's kind of like a hangover from the rest of the card, because the rest of the card was not good. It wasn't good at all. I felt like the rest of this card was very lackluster, and they just threw this together like all the Apex events they've been doing recently. So you've got like the Rose Namajunas main event that she just had. I forget who she just beat. Like, I can't even remember these fights. What does that tell you, though? Like, if I can't remember the fights, what's going on? Now, I'll remember Chepe Mariscal in his next fight. I'll be like, oh, yeah, Chepe, he had the win over Damon Jackson. There's lots of great scrambles, body lock, and all that good stuff, and they poured everything into him. That's about all I remember from this card. That and Youssef Zalal. I'll probably forget the main event. I'll probably forget because, you know, it wasn't fantastic. This is I gotta go back. I'm sorry. We'll circle back to this later because, like, I'm not into it at all. Like, this card was just, ugh. But yeah. So what I really liked was Chepe from the clinch. He would get over unders. He had a nice throw. There's like some fancy judo name for it. Don't get this country guy from South Louisiana trying to speak Japanese, because it ain't gonna work and it ain't gonna sound good. Just be honest. He had a nice throw. The very first throw exchange, it was really cool. And the thing about Damon Jackson is he's a talented wrestler, and he can wrestle his way out of some tough situations. Now, Chepe Mariscal is not going to control you on the ground. That's kind of not his game, but he's good enough to get you there and cause some damage, get to your back. So, like, let's go back to the webpage real quick here and go to old Tapology. Let's see. Go back. We'll pull up the card. Go to the co-main event. Good old Tapology. Chepe Mariscal, 17-6. Wow, he's not as good as I thought. Just looked really good against Jackson. He's only got 3 submission wins. See, that's odd. He was supposed to fight Dan Ige. He missed weight this time. He got the win over Morgan Charrier. I don't even remember that. Oh, goodness. Jack Jenkins. How has Chepe been around for 4 fights and I don't remember him? Maybe I am a casual. I don't know. Maybe I am. But he's... Oh, so all of his losses are kind of... Yeah, he lost to Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia's good. Joe Anderson Brito's okay. Lost to Bryce Mitchell back in 2017, a long time ago. Jeez. Gregor Gillespie. This dude fought some people. Wow. I need to go find his old fights and reacquaint myself with Chepe, because even though he's 17-6, that record's kind of deceiving, especially not knowing who he was. Let's see. Danny Barlow beat Nikolay Varenikov. Chris Gutierrez had a decent fight with Quang Lee. Yana Santos beat Chelsea Chandler. Toshihome Kazuma beat... I'm not even going to try and say that Cyprus name. Good Lord. Carol Rosa beat Penny Kinazad. Yonata Diaz beat Carl Williams. And my favorite, Youssef Zalal. Youssef Zalal submitted Aarons. What's his first name? Jarno Aarons. And it's his second straight win on his. So if you've missed Youssef Zalal, like, he used to be in the UFC. He fought 3 really tough fights back to back. Took Ilia Topuria to a close decision. He didn't get beat up by Topuria. And the bane of his existence has kind of been wrestling. And Youssef Zalal's a Moroccan guy. He's a really good kickboxer. He's a fun fighter, and he finally got the call up back because he got cut after 3-1 run. So he was like 0 wins, 3 losses, and a draw to Damon Blackshear of all people. So it's like, yeah, you gotta go, and I can't blame him after that. But Youssef Zalal managed to go out there and put on a really good performance in his fight back against Billy Quarantil. Now, if you missed it on the newsletter for the premium guys, I did a breakdown on that Billy Q fight and talked about a lot of how he attacked on the feet. And what we talked about in that article was kind of how, he starts with the low kicks, but he also makes sure his footwork's right. He wants to angle to either way. And we went to real nitty-gritty nuts and bolts, so sign up for that if you want to catch up and know a little bit more about a very good featherweight prospect in Youssef Zalal. And we didn't get to see as much of that because Jarno Ennis is a Dutch guy. So you got a Moroccan kickboxer versus a Dutch kickboxer, kind of like, Rico Verhoeven and Badr Hari, except these guys are nowhere near that great, obviously. So these two guys, they go at it. They are, Jarno Ennis is putting on a performance that really is like overperforming what I thought he was supposed to do. And the way he did it, Youssef Zalal managed to get to the back. He managed to, take him down, and he managed to get the submission. Second straight rear naked choke win. He choked out Billy Q in his last fight. So good on him. Please, Dana White, spare us from this Apex card. Oh, it's so bad, and I understand. So if you go let's look at this card for a minute. Let's go back to our web scene here. We will look through most of it. Stephanie Luciano and Tatalia, I don't even know how to say her name. I didn't watch that fight. But 17-4 versus 25-9. 17-6 versus 23-7-1. 9-0 Danny Barlow versus 12-5. Okay. 12-5-2 versus 8-1 Quang Lee. These cards are like Chelsea Chandler versus Yana Santos. Santos hadn't fought since she was pregnant, I don't believe. You got Toshiomi Kazuma. Okay, he had a triangle choke win, which was really cool. But these cards have just not been hitting, and it's mainly the Apex cards, right? So I can go now and tell you which cards are Apex. Let's go to the bottom here. Luis Nascimento. That's no, that is new. Never mind. I guess I can't tell you. Barbosa and Lerone Murphy. Chaos Williams. And, this card here was, not even that great. Adrian Yanez had a decent win. Anytime you see Angela Hill on the card, you kind of got to be like, even though she fights this weekend. Abus fought and, like that. Tatsuro Taira versus Perez was a good fight. But they're the Apex, so we got Miles John versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. You don't even have to go past the co-main event to see just how not good these cards are. Let's see here. No, the Namajunas Cortez was in Colorado. I was wrong about that one too. Lemos versus Verna Jandaroba. That's a high-ranked fight, but Steve Garcia versus Sungwoo Choi? No, thank you. That's a good fight, but not a co-main event fight. And let's see. Sanhagen, Tybura, this weekend's card. Canonero versus Cal Barallo. That's a decent fight, but this one I can get behind. I can get behind that. Edmund Shabazian. Michael Morales is decent. Okay, I can get behind that one. But you see what I'm saying. Not the greatest cards, but, wrong button. Not the greatest cards, but you can see what I mean. They're not really trying. It's the ESPN era. It's time to get out of this era. We need some violence, and BYB has a really good card this weekend. The best fight that can be made in bare knuckle boxing: Barry Jones and LT Nelson. If you're not watching that, you obviously need to, because it is absolutely fantastic and it's a fun card. I did a breakdown on Barry Jones and his approach to how he fights bare knuckle boxing, and I go really deep into the nuts and bolts, kind of one of those film studies that I always do. That's something you guys should absolutely check out.